All right, it's time to go back out to Darren Mark now. Living in the woods, this is day 2, and he made a bowl a little while ago. Are you making it right now?
Yeah, we're still making that bowl. We're continuing to take hot coals, Norma, from the fire, and we're attempting to burn out a hole in the middle of that block of wood. Sean tells me if the block of wood ever catches on fire, you don't want the flame to burn through the wood because that can actually crack the wood. So you just need to let those coals smolder on it. And it takes a long time, but the patience pays off because, as we showed you before, this is a finished bowl. Very cool. When we come back, Sean is going to teach us how to build an apparatus that makes fire. We'll be right back.
When we come back, we'll join Darren Mark live in the woods learning how to survive.
Look how cold he looks. That's almost how cold he is. All week long, Darren Mark is going to be living in the woods.
Yeah, it's a test of will, so to speak, a test of strength. And this morning, they're learning how to make bowls, literally, bowls from hunks of wood. Hey,
Yeah.
Darren.
Hey, guys, our bowl is coming along, and we think that by the end of the show, we may have something that resembles a bowl, but if not, it'll take a couple more hours after 7 o'clock.
So you won't eat till then.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you do what you can in the wild.
I hear you.
So in the meantime, we're going to look at an apparatus that makes fire from scratch, essentially. No flint, no matches, no lighters. We started our fire already this morning, but we're going to show you how we did it using a device called a bow drill.
Right, a bow drill is made up of 5 pieces, and again, we use a real dry 2x4 to teach the students. You have the fireboard, which is where the fire starts, and that's a piece of wood that's about your thumb width. It can be any length, and that's where the spindle, which is the other piece, is going to spin to create the coal. Then there's a part that you hold on the top of the spindle so that you can spin it. And then the apparatus that actually spins it is called the bow. And I know this looks like a bootlace. It's actually a thing off my tent, but bootlace works fine. Remember, we teach going in with what you have on, and most of the time people have bootlaces on. And if not, you can make primitive cordage out of it.
Probably not often that somebody is going to be deposited in nature naked.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you follow that FedEx plane, then
Yeah, right.
you got your shoelaces.
Even then you have Wilson, though.
Yes, that's true. And then we have, this is our tinder bundle, which is just material that you find laying around, and this is what actually starts on fire. So then you take this and stick it in your campfire to start the campfire.
Will you take out the spindle for a second? I want to
Sure.
see that. Now, this looks like a dowel that you'd buy at the hardware shop. In fact, you carved this.
Oh yeah, you just carve it. You just take a square piece of wood that you can split out of any type of wood, and it's thumb diameter, and it's about the length from your little finger to your thumb. Types of wood that work. If you want to start, best is really dry pine. But there's a test called the thumbnail test. If you take any type of wood, if you take your nail and press it into the wood, and if you can see your nail print without being able to gouge the wood out, that wood will probably work.
How effective is an apparatus like this?
As long as the wood is in good condition and not soaking wet, and your tinder bundle is not wet, you can get a fire most of the time. I mean, yesterday we tried to start a fire, and the tinder bundle was damp, and we got the coal, but we didn't get a fire. So it took us 2 tries.
All right, this time we think we're going to be able to get it done. When we come back in the next segment, we're going to show you how the bow drill works, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it will start a fire. So stay with us because this is very, very cool.
Yeah.
Interesting, too. We're learning a lot.
Thank you, Darren.
Thanks, Darren.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, could you make it in the woods for a week with just the clothes on your back? Darren Mark's trying to learn how to do that this week. And there he is. You're still making the bowl, right?
Yeah, still doing the bowl, and our fire apparatus is all built, so we're ready to do that. But before we get there, I want to talk to Sean for 1 second about silverware. When you're out in the wild, obviously you're not equipped with your forks and knives, unless you're me and travel with them everywhere.
Right.
But seriously, this is something that I noticed that you made, took you 2 seconds, chopsticks.
Yeah, chopsticks.
All you did is you took a branch, bent it, and here you go. And it actually also works as something that can pick up the hot coals from the fire. I like it.
Yeah.
When we come back, our survivalist expert, Sean Pearson from the Nature Awareness and Survival School, will show us how to make fire, not using anything else but wood. See you in a little bit.
We're back. We're going out to check on Darren in the woods this morning.
Doing this.
They're trying to make fire the old-fashioned. Look at that.
Look at that.
Doug and Norman, this is called a bow drill. The guy that's working it is Sean Pearson. Sean is the co-founder of the Nature Awareness and Survival School, which has been up and running in Rochester for about 3 years. Twice a year, they teach free seminars on how to build debris shelters and how to make this device. It's called a bow drill, and we have made ours using some raw materials and some that we brought with us. Now, the problem this morning is that it started raining about 10 minutes ago, so our materials are a little wet, but when everything's dry, this thing works in usually between 1 and 2 minutes. And Sean, what are we trying to light on fire there?
Well, this is our tinder bundle, and what normally happens is you could hear the sound, and that really happened because this was damp. And it drills down into here, and this little notch will collect this like sawdust, and the friction will turn this into a coal.
So this hole was not pre-made.
No, we drilled that with this.
With our homemade spindle. And then the little notch right here, we just carved out with a little piece of a rock.
Right.
And the reason you have the notch is so you can spread what turns out to be smoke onto this.
Right, which forms a coal. And then you can see this actually did start this on, to catch this on fire a little bit. But this is just damp when it started raining.
So that brings up an interesting question. It is starting to rain now, and there's supposed to be more rain today. How are we going to make food when our fire is extinguished and the wood's wet?
Well, obviously we have edible plants. Also, if we were in a long-term survival situation, we will have harvested food ahead of time, and it would be in storage, either in pits in the ground or in our debris shelters.
Basically, once it's raining, if you want to keep warm with fire, you're out of luck?
Yeah, unless you have a shelter that's big enough that either goes over the fire as like a big dome, or even a debris shelter like we have that extends out and you can have a little hardwood fire. You just have to be careful the debris doesn't catch on fire.
Now, the bow drill, of course, its primary use is to create fire, but also you were saying to me you can use it as a drill.
As a drill, exactly. All you do is, on the end, you just stick a little flake of rock, and you can drill into like a maple tree, and you have, syrup, right?
We got to go in a second, but quickly, are we nervous about the days ahead? It's going to rain.
No, not at all.
It's going to snow, and there's going to be 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
I'm not nervous. You might be.
Yeah. I'm freaked out. I want to go home. I mean, this guy does it for fun. I do it for ratings. That's my problem.
I do it for ratings. You're hysterical, Darren.
We'll be back.
See you later.
Tough to keep a fire going for Darren and that.
See you later. They're still trying.
If you see news happen, dial 222-1313 or star 13 on your Verizon Wireless phone. This is a free call. Join in. A service brought to you by Verizon Wireless.